these are left? Are these like
the ashes?
These like little pearls or something?
Right. They were sifted through, and they still survived. In fact, there are more and more and more. Okay.
Oh.
So they multiply. There are rainbows around them. Again, I had pictures. I haven't put them.
Yeah.
If you do not revere them, they'll disappear.
I see. Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
They're really. Oh, wow. Got chills on that one.
Yeah, they multiply. Okay. So these are the blood relics. They're very powerful. That's why I said, look at them. They're a gift. We honor them. For me to bring this to your audience is not a small thing. You have asked me very specifically, Carol, and you have said again and again, I love the picture of that band. That tells me take time, show them, because they hold this in a special way. They'll be blessed. Mm-hmm. Just by having this in your consciousness, you're changed forever.
Right.
So the relics are a very high Rolls Royce, you might say, of a device. And the tiller used to say, Nisha, we're like the Henry Ford car. You know, in future, you'll make better and better devices. And I remember saying, I don't know what you mean, but he was right, you know, the Henry Ford car. And I think in the book, I put a Pagani car. Pagani is a very, very high-end Italian roadster. It was a fun thing. I was... Anyway, so the Buddha's relics are wrapped and protected. They're kept in these little containers in this case, which has a kata, scarf, and designs that are really sacred. Okay, they're kept and put properly. And the tiller device, we wrap in aluminum foil, you know.
Right.
It was transported from city to city on an airplane or a van that takes it from Minneapolis to New York, to all of these cities. It came to Los Angeles, to Manek home. And tillers, again, in a FedEx airplane, sent to Plymouth, Minnesota for its express. I mean, you can see the parallels here. Right. To me, it was like, yeah.
Now, did this have anything to do when the Dalai Lama came? I think it was 2010 or 11. Was that part of that?
So the Dalai Lama, when he came, do you mean to the Mayo Clinic?
No, he came to, I went to Washington. I thought it was 2000, for 2 weeks and he visited Obama.
So he gives initiations in many medicine, Buddha initiations, other initiations. So it may have been part of that.
Yeah.
I have been with His Holiness in 2012, just after the paper was published. I was with Dr. Tiller, and we met His Holiness to give him a copy of the paper in the Kurukula Buddhist Center in Boston. At that time in Boston, the relics were also there.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Yeah. So His Holiness does these tours. They're not necessarily with the relics, but I can tell you that was quite an amazing event. And I remember saying to His Holiness, consciousness is not in the brain, because he sponsors a lot of the brain research. And I think he does that because this is where we are in our technology. And he respects that. And I think that's fine. Tiller comes from that's why I said top-down science.
Right. Well, the brain is the hardware and the mind and consciousness is the software.
Yeah, it's everywhere. So
exactly.
This hardware can be rebooted, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So meditation is part of that. Discipline, contemplation is part of that. So I think the brain research has helped us understand, just like you do biceps curls and you build the muscle. Mm-hmm. If you meditate and do loving kindness, your frontal lobes are bigger.
Wow.
And they bypass the amygdala, which is the reptilian brain. Mm-hmm. So if you're angry, you can hold just for that crucial 1 or 2 seconds and reboot to have a different response.
Right. Wow.
Now, the relics of the Buddha, when we were in that cathedral space, you could see that as the people came into the room, their faces changed.
Uh-huh.
So this was very quick. You didn't need therapy. You didn't need to lie down on a couch and take medicines or it was very different. This is healing of a very, very high kind.
Exactly.
Okay. So I think this is information medicine of loving kindness. Okay. So not to make small of brain research, it is absolutely essential. What I'm saying is consciousness is not in your head.
Right.
We're looking at a very different vital point. And that was the point I made to His Holiness.
Okay, well,
that the relics are showing
it's been an
us.
hour already.
Huh? It's okay. Let's keep going. We're towards the end.
Okay.
We want to finish with the invisible architect, which is where you come from, Carol.
Yeah.
I hope that's okay.
No, that's fabulous. I just wanted you to know, because last time you had an appointment.
I want to finish, round it out because.
Okay, good.
Good.
Okay,
thank you, Carol. So the point I was making to His Holiness was, it is important to note that the relics were right there at the Kurukula Center in Boston, that we have the vital clue to the question of consciousness, that it is not locked in the human body.
Right.
He nodded. And His Holiness is very playful. And he gave me a firm pat on the arm and off I went. So he met his Dr. Tiller and gave him a scarf, many pictures, particularly with Lama Zopa. Lama Zopa, the heart disciple, said, yes, it is important to understand the relics. And it's not necessary to disintegrate them or break them or look. People ask me, what's the chemical composition? Who cares?